Hey y'all, today I'm going to talk a little bit about Brother Dino from H-Town. He had an amazing voice. I think his voice is up there with the greats. Dino Conner was born Delando Domingo Conner in Houston, Texas on November 18th, 1974. His brother Shazam was born Solomon Conner. They were sent to live with their grandmother. There they would watch their uncles perform in a group. They developed their own desire for music. They recorded their own songs and realized how talented they were. They met their friend G.I., Darrell Jackson, while they were in high school. He was pursuing a career in music. They formed a band with G.I. They were called the Gents. They recorded their first album, It's No Dream, with producer Phil Blackman. Shazam was the lead singer at that time. The album featured the ballad A Time for Us. Unfortunately, the album was not successful. Later, they recorded tracks and performed at talent shows and plays before a local producer sent their demo tape to One Time to Live crew rapper and record label executive Luther Luke Campbell. There was an impromptu audition, and Luke signed the group to his label, Luke Records. Producer Bishop Stick Burrell became their producer and made Dino the lead singer, seeing his potential and his rare voice. Dino's voice was special. I haven't heard many voices that were as good as his. He had the formula for success. They took the name of the group H-Town from the local nickname for the city of Houston where they grew up. H-Town's debut album, Fever for the Flavor, was released in 1993, and the lead single, Knocking the Boots, went to number one on the Billboard Hot R&B charts. I think a lot of us remember that song. The album became certified platinum. Shazam said on an interview with Magic 102.1 that people thought they were called H-Town because they were Haitians, because in Miami there was a lot of Haitians there. He said Knocking the Boots blew up so fast and it was out for months before he actually heard it on the radio because they were moving around so much on tour. He said they were so poor back then and he didn't realize he was a star until they went to London. People reacted to them there. They were being chased at the mall and stuff like that. And he was like, "Me?" He said Luke did tell them that they were going to be stars in 2 to 3 weeks, but I guess they didn't really take that statement so seriously. He said they weren't really doing it for the money. They were doing it to show their friends at school who said they weren't going to make it. He said it was like a dream. It took some time to sink in that they had really made it big. G.I. said people were breaking down barricades, running to the stage, and the police couldn't control it. He said they had like 20 police officers. They couldn't control the people and they tried to shut the shows down. Shazam also said they weren't really making any money, so he was like, "Are we really big?" He said the label gave them $160 a week just to eat off of. When he found out he had celebrity status like that, he said he would take his clothes and say, "Give me $100 for it." He said when he started making money, he would do the same thing, but he didn't sell it. He would just give the clothes away. Knockin' the Boots became H-Town's biggest hit. That was their signature song. Lick You Up, the group's follow-up single, peaked at number 21. They signed on as a part of the 1993 Coca-Cola Summer Fest tour, which included SWV, Shy, Jade, Naughty by Nature, LL Cool J, and Silk. In 1994, H-Town won the Soul Train Music Award for Best New Artist. That was a good moment for them. They appeared on the Above the Rim soundtrack with their single Part-Time Lover, produced by Devontae Swing of Jodeci. It went to number 9 on the R&B charts. The album shipped over 2 million copies and won Soundtrack of the Year at the 1995 Source Awards. They got a chance to meet Prince, who told them he was a fan of their music, says Shazam. He even called them up on stage to perform with him. Shazam said every time they were singing and tried to get off the stage, Prince said, "Come on back." Allegedly, when they were to work on their second album, they wanted to receive $500,000 up front. And the label did agree with that, but they were told they had to pay off the house and the label purchased for them. Their next album was called Begging After Dark. It was released in November 1994. The most popular single from that album was Emotions. It reached number 11 on the Billboard R&B chart and number 51 on the Hot 100. In the music video, though, Dino was seriously injured in a car accident. Luke's label was having some financial difficulty. It seems H-Town became frustrated with what was going on. They did an interview with BET Video Soul. They came on the interview in shackles, expressing their feelings. Shazam said that they felt like they were being held down. They said the record company wasn't promoting their album. Shazam and Dino did most of the talking on that interview. Luke felt betrayed. Luke went through some things himself, too. You should read his book. G.I. did an interview with 97.9, the Box Studios, where he mentioned that they bought themselves out of their contract. He talked about Luke going into bankruptcy, that he had all these creditors coming after his company. So they found a way with a distribution company, and they were able to take that money and buy themselves out of their contract. He said they spent $200,000 out of their money to buy themselves out of the contract. After H-Town left Luke Records, they signed with Sony Relativity. They received $1 million each and 50% of their masters. The tracks from the Begging After Dark album included Back Seats with No Sheets, Full Time, One Night Gigolo, Baby I Love You featuring Roger Troutman, and more. They recorded a cover version of The Persuaders, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, featuring Shirley Murdoch and Roger Troutman for the 1996 film A Thin Line Between Love and Hate starring Martin Lawrence. The song became H-Town's first top 40 hit in 3 years, peaking at number 37. They were working on their third album with Dino's leadership. They wrote and produced the album themselves. With this album, their music was not as sexual as before. Their album was called Ladies Edition, Woman's World. It was released in October of 1997. This album was dedicated to Nicole Brown Simpson and all the women of the world. Their one and only single from the album, They Like It Slow, was released on September 23, 1997, and peaked at number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100. Allegedly, instead of promoting their album, the label wanted to record a new album. They were offered $2 million, but Dino did not take the deal. He told the label that they could either promote their current music or they would not get another album from H-Town. Now, H-Town was in breach of their contract. Allegedly, Dino began turning down shows because he felt H-Town was being taken advantage of, so the group was interrupted at that point. Dino recorded some of his own music, but allegedly the people in the industry refused to give Dino's new music a try since it was different from the songs he previously did with the group. It was said that Dino became depressed. The money wasn't coming in as much, so he decided to file bankruptcy. Shazam went to his house and convinced him to get back in the spotlight and that performing in front of his fans would help him feel better. H-Town got back together in January 2003. It was said that Dino asked Shazam to help him with a song called The Day I Die. On the Unsung episode, Shazam said he didn't agree with him talking like that. Shazam began to negotiate their contract with Atlantic Records and a 30-day tour, but Dino couldn't be found. Allegedly, on January 28, 2003, Dino left a recording studio and was a passenger in a car being driven by his pregnant girlfriend, Tesha Ray Wessent. Their vehicle was struck by an SUV that ran a red light. His girlfriend died at the scene, and Dino died en route to the hospital. He was only 28 years old. Dino also had a young daughter named Kasia. 3 people who were in the SUV had fled the scene. One of them was Juan Diaz. He faced charges of failure to stop and render aid. Dino had an amazing voice, and it's sad he left so soon. Rest in peace, Brother Dino. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.